It started not in a gleaming high-rise, but in the humble confines of a suburban garage, a place where dreams were etched onto circuit boards and the future was being coded, one line at a time. This is the story of a company that teetered on the brink of collapse, only to rise and redefine not just an industry, but the very way we live, work, and connect with one another. It's a story about a bite taken from an apple, a symbol of defiance, creativity, and the relentless pursuit of a vision so audacious it would change the world. This is the journey of Apple Inc. Our story begins in 1976, a time of bell-bottoms and nascent technological ambition. In a garage in Los Altos, California, three young men, Steve Jobs, the visionary, Steve Wozniak, the engineering wizard, and Ronald Wayne ignited a spark that would become a global phenomenon. They founded Apple Computer Company on April 1st, a date that now seems prophetic for a company that would make fools of conventional wisdom time and time again. Their first creation, the Apple I, was a raw motherboard, a kit for hobbyists. But it was the Apple II, launched in 1977, that truly captured the American imagination. With its revolutionary color graphics and user-friendly design, it wasn't just a machine. It was an invitation into the new world of personal computing, bringing technology out of the corporate data center and onto the desks of homes and schools across the nation. The momentum was unstoppable. In 1980, Apple went public in a spectacular IPO, turning its young founders and employees into millionaires overnight and cementing its reputation as the daring darling of a new technological age. The company was on a meteoric rise, a true American success story in the making. Then, in 1984, came a moment that felt like a broadcast from the future. With a now legendary Super Bowl ad, Apple introduced the Macintosh. It was a revelation. It wasn't just a computer, it was a revolution in a box. The graphical user interface and the mouse were not mere features. They were a declaration that technology should bend to human intuition, not the other way around. It was the dawn of computing for the rest of us. Yet, just as Apple seemed to have conquered the world, a deep fissure appeared at its very core. A power struggle, a clash of visions, led to the unthinkable. In 1985, Steve Jobs, the fiery co-founder and the soul of the company, was forced out. His departure cast a long, cold shadow, marking the beginning of a dark and difficult period for the company he had helped create. The years that followed were a trial by fire. Without the North Star of Jobs' singular vision, Apple began to lose its way. The company that had once been the beacon of innovation found itself adrift in a sea of corporate bureaucracy and strategic missteps. Product lines became confusing and bloated. The magic was fading. Fierce competition from giants like IBM and Microsoft, armed with their vast PC ecosystem, began to chip away at Apple's market share. The rebel spirit was being slowly suffocated by convention. Despite desperate attempts to restructure and innovate, the company struggled to recapture its former glory. It was a painful and public decline. For a decade, Apple, once the symbol of a bold new future, looked perilously close to becoming a footnote in the history of the very industry it had pioneered. It was a company in exile from its own identity, bleeding money, talent, and, most importantly, relevance. But just when all seemed lost, destiny intervened. In a stunning reversal of fortune, Apple acquired Next in 1997, the company Steve Jobs had founded after his departure. With that acquisition came the return of the prodigal son. Jobs came back initially as an advisor, but his presence was electric. He swiftly took the reins as interim and then permanent CEO. He wasn't there to manage a gentle decline. He was there to stage a revolution. He slashed the convoluted product lines, simplified the message, and refocused the entire company on a single, powerful idea. Think different. The comeback began in 1998 with a splash of color. The iMac G3, an all-in-one Bondi blue computer, was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Accessible and beautiful, it wasn't just a product, it was a statement. Apple was back, and it was no longer just about computing. The next decade would be nothing short of a golden age, a period of unprecedented innovation that would reshape modern culture. In 2001, Jobs unveiled the iPod, a device that put 1,000 songs in your pocket. It wasn't the first digital music player, but it was the first one that felt like magic. Paired with the iTunes Store in 2003, it didn't just popularize digital music. saved the music industry from piracy, and changed how we consume art forever. This was the foundation of a powerful new ecosystem. Then, in 2007, came the masterstroke. On a stage in San Francisco, Jobs introduced a device that was an iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator, all in one. Called it the iPhone. With its multi-touch screen and intuitive interface, it rendered every other phone on the market obsolete overnight. It wasn't just a product, it was a portal to a new reality. The launch of the App Store a year later unleashed the creativity of millions, putting an entire universe of possibilities in the palm of our hands. And Apple wasn't done. In 2010, the iPad arrived, creating an entirely new category of device that bridged the gap between the smartphone and the laptop. Under Jobs' relentless drive, Apple was no longer just a computer company. It was a force of nature, building a seamless ecosystem of hardware, software, and services that was as powerful as it was elegant. The world watched in mourning when Steve Jobs passed away in October 2011. The loss of such a singular visionary was immense, and many wondered if Apple's golden age had ended with him. But the foundation he had laid was strong, and his hand-picked successor, Tim Cook, was ready. Under Cook's steady leadership, Apple didn't just survive, it growing into a global powerhouse of unimaginable scale. The iPhone continued its reign as the company's flagship, shattering sales records and becoming the most successful product in history. But Cook's era was also marked by a strategic expansion into new frontiers. The services ecosystem, including Apple Music, iCloud, and Apple TV Plus, blossomed into a massive, stable source of revenue, deepening customer loyalty. Apple pushed into new categories with groundbreaking products. In 2015, the Apple Watch arrived, becoming the world's best-selling smartwatch and a powerful personal health companion. AirPods revolutionized wireless audio, becoming an iconic accessory overnight. Then, in 2020, Apple embarked on its most audacious technical transition in years, moving its Mac computers to its own custom-designed Apple silicon chips, delivering a breathtaking leap in performance and efficiency. Most recently, with the Vision Pro. Apple has taken its first bold step into the future of spatial computing, hinting at a world where the digital and physical realms merge. Through it all, Apple continued to break financial records, becoming the first company to reach $1 trillion valuation and solidifying its place as one of the most valuable enterprises in human history. So what is the secret to this extraordinary journey? It lies in a set of core principles, a company DNA that has remained consistent through triumph and turmoil. First, a relentless focus on elegant design and an intuitive user experience. Apple believes that technology should be beautiful, simple, and a joy to use. Second, the power of a deeply integrated ecosystem. The seamless dance between hardware like the iPhone, software like iOS, services like iCloud, creates a user experience that is cohesive, secure, and incredibly difficult for competitors to replicate. Third, a culture of continuous innovation. Apple doesn't just follow trends, it creates them, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible and setting new standards for the entire industry. This is powered by world-class marketing and branding, which tells stories that create not just customers, but evangelists. Finally, an unwavering commitment to quality. Apple products command a premium, but they deliver a level of performance, durability, and support that builds profound trust and loyalty. From a garage in California to the pockets and wrists of billions around the globe, Apple's story is a powerful American epic. It's a testament to the idea that a small group of passionate people can, in fact, change the world. It's a story of falling and getting back up, of losing your way and then finding it again with renewed purpose. It proves that a deep belief in a vision, the courage to defy convention, and an unyielding obsession with excellence can turn the impossible into the inevitable. Apple didn't just build products, it shaped the future, and its journey continues to inspire us to think differently and reach for the stars.